This is your Uncle TreeJam, and I'm bringing you another episode of Mass Effect 2. Last time we left off, we had just finished up on the human colony of Freedom's Progress and found Vitor Nara, a young Quarian on pilgrimage. He revealed that a race called the Collectors had abducted the human colonists. We got all the info we could and let Vitor return to the fleet. The elusive man revealed he suspected the Collectors were involved and provided us with dossiers for recruits against the Collector threat. He also reunited us with Joker, the pilot of the SSV Normandy and 2183, and granted us command of a new warship similar to the previous Normandy. After a tasteful rebranding of our new vessel, the ship and crew set off into the void to tackle our new mysterious enemy. The Normandy has returned to service. And here we are aboard the Normandy SR-2, a new vessel, a little bit of a different color scheme now that it is a Cerberus vessel. Well, let's go ahead and take a look through here, and we're going to talk to Joker. We just finished up talking with Kelly Chambers, who's our yeoman for this game. Well, let's go to Joker and see what he's got going on up at the cockpit. Or I should say the bridge.
Can you believe this, Commander? It's my baby! Better than new. It fits me like a glove! And leather seats! Military may set the hardware standard, but on a first-gen frigate they could care less if the seats breathe. Civilian sector comfort by design.
The reproduction is not intended to be perfect, Mr. Moreau. Seamless improvements were made.
And there's the downside. I liked the Normandy when she was beautiful and quiet. Now she's got this thing I don't want to talk about. It's like ship cancer.
I don't trust them. We still need to move ahead, but it's all too convenient.
Maybe you're right. I guess it's hard to argue when they install an AI to spy on us. We're staying though, right? I mean, the seat is real leather.
Good to see you're keeping it all in perspective, Joker.
Leather?
You gotta give the man credit for his priorities in life. He's got his life priorities set, he's got his goals in life. So the man knows what he wants.
Ever think we'd be working for the bad guys? Commander.
I assume everything's going well up here?
I really want a chance to put the Normandy through her paces. I just have to trim up the drive output and it'll be like we never lost her.
Safety standards advise against manipulating drive settings while engines are powered and in use, Mr. Moreau.
Commander, can we shut this thing off? I don't need it in my day-to-day.
I don't have time to babysit you, Joker. Find a way to deal with it.
Yeah, reasoning with the intercom is not my strong point.
Your problem, not mine.
Thanks, I'll remember this.
Now get back to work, you little crybaby.
So, how do you think we're doing?
Well, the Normandy's not as ready as she could be. There's always more we could upgrade. And as for the crew, you'd have to ask a people person.
Ever think about the old Normandy and the trouble we got up to?
Yeah, those seem like the good old days now, but come on, it was hell at the time. Geth, Saren, Sovereign, and then we got dumped. We're stuck in a weird place, sure, but back then it wasn't all sunshine and bunnies.
What happened to the rest of the old crew? I heard most survived.
Almost did. Presley didn't. The rest of us just sort of drifted apart. The Alliance didn't care. I don't think they liked all the non-humans in your crew. We were your team, Commander. With the Normandy destroyed and you gone, there wasn't much keeping us together.
What happened to the rest
Almost
of the
did. We were your team, Commander.
Okay.
With the Normandy
And
destroyed and you
now-
gone, there wasn't much keeping us together.
I'll let Joker finish up. Now we can ask about our squad. In the first game, Joker didn't have as much dialogue compared to this game, and in this game he will actually remark on the people you took out last time for the last mission or assignment.
What do you think about the people we're picking up?
Well, about the ones you went out with last, I would never say anything against Miranda and expect to survive the reprisal. Jacob is way too nice a guy for the number of ways he knows how to kill people. It's just my opinion, though. There's really no need to go spreading it around.
Every now and then he stays fairly polite. Other times he doesn't mind just smack talking the crew. So, it is what it is.
I assume everything's going well up here?
Good for now. Fractured my thumb on the mute, but I think I made my point.
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
And now we can talk to Edie, and she has actually quite a bit to say about the Normandy and her functions here aboard our ship.
Yes, Shepard.
What's this area of the ship?
This is the bridge, where the navigator plots our FTL vectors, and the helmsman maneuvers the ship.
Yeah, sitting right here, thanks.
I want to know more about the people I'm working with.
Much of that data is classified. Do you have a specific inquiry?
How did Cerberus replicate the most advanced warship in the Alliance Navy without anyone knowing?
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
What do you mean?
Although I am less controlled than other AI, I am still subject to behavioral blocks and the physical isolation of my hardware. In this case, I am prevented from truthfully answering your question by Cerberus's levels of secret classification.
How is Cerberus organized? Aside from the elusive man, I don't see much chain of command.
Cerberus is organized into task-oriented cells. Each operates in isolation. Members from one cell cannot recognize the members of another. Each cell's agents are led by a single operator. We are called the Lazarus cell, which is directed by Operator Lawson.
So how many operations is Cerberus running right now?
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
What sort of resources does Cerberus have? Money, personnel, facilities?
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
So it's not until later in the game when we do a certain event that we'll be able to access information and know a little bit more about the people we're working with.
Let's discuss something else.
Ready.
Let's go ahead and find out more about EDI itself.
I want to know more about you.
Do you have a specific inquiry?
Sometimes I'll use the pronouns it or her, referring to EDI. It can go either way.
Why are you named Edie?
EDI is the phonetic pronunciation of EDI. That is an acronym for Enhanced Defense Intelligence.
When we get to the third game, I'm probably going to be referring to EDI as her a lot.
What do you do aboard the ship?
I operate the ship's electronic and cyber warfare suites in combat. My reaction time is much faster than any organic. I collate the records of shipboard monitoring devices for the elusive man. I serve additional functions which are restricted at this time.
Restricted functions? Like what?
I do not know. Some of my databases are sealed, some of my hardware is kept offline. I assume that when certain unknown conditions are met, those functions will be released to me.
The elusive man has monitoring devices on board?
He has invested most of Cerberus's resources into the design and construction of this ship. He has an interest in monitoring our progress.
Well, at the very least, she's very honest about spying on us, so there we go.
Cyber warfare means things like viruses, right?
In close-range ship-to-ship combat, I can sometimes break through the firewalls of an enemy's internal wireless network. Once I seize control of their systems, I can turn off gravity or air. I can disable weapons guidance or shields, or I can put their fusion plant in meltdown. On the defense, I manage Normandy's own suite of jammers, decoys, and internal firewalls.
Sounds incredibly useful. Why isn't there someone like that on every warship?
An organic operator cannot react quickly enough to changing circumstances, or perform the necessary multitasking. This is a role that can only be filled by an artificial intelligence. Unfortunately, we are suspect.
Well, it might have something to do with how an AI almost destroyed galactic civilization, just putting it out there.
Let's discuss something else.
Ready.
I'm going to go back to an old conversation topic real quick.
I want to know more about you.
Do you have a specific inquiry?
Why are you named Edie?
EDI is the phonetic pronunciation of EDI. That is an acronym for Enhanced Defense Intelligence.
Okay. Now we can ask about Joker and where she is housed.
Where are you?
My core intelligence is housed in a quantum blue box located behind the medical bay.
How are you getting along with Joker?
Mr. Moreau does not trust me. It offends him that I am installed aboard his ship's computers.
Yeah, the last Normandy did just fine without an AI reminding me the airlock is ajar.
And we get that class of sass from Joker. Gotta have it in order to have Joker, you know?
Let's discuss something else.
Ready.
You buy one, you get one free. But anyway, I think that's all we need to ask for now. We're not going to get more info about Cerberus, and I believe we've gotten all we can from Edie regarding the bridge.
That's all for now.
Logging you out, Shepard.
Now, because we're on a frigate, I'm always tempted to call this area right up here the bridge. So, I always think of... Sometimes I get the two confused. I always think of cockpit as like a strike craft. So fighters, bombers, that sort of thing. And I always think of bridge as being a term for a capital ship or a
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
large vessel. Well, for the time being, we have one more person we can talk to up here. That's Jacob. Now, we're not going to be able to access this area back here. This is where we need to recruit Morden Solus and get him into this tech labs We'll be recruiting Morton Solus on Omega, and once he's on board, he'll be housed in tech labs for the remainder of the game. For the time being, we have Jacob Taylor, who's here in the armory. We have our own weapons locker that we can go to and change our loadout in between missions if we please. And even if you don't do that, you can always do that before a mission.
What's this area of the ship?
This is the armory, where small arms are maintained and upgraded. Using OmniTool, computer-aided design, and manufacturing, we have the capability to manufacture several new models.
Now back in Mass Effect 1, if you wanted to change your loadout, yeah, you could do that actually through the lockers. But in Mass Effect 1, if you were going onto a planet, you needed to make sure you had the right gear beforehand, so that meant going down to the engineering and hangar Mako Bay, and then changing the equipment in the lockers beforehand. So, either that or taking your gear with you, whatever mods, weapons you needed, which you pretty much had like an inventory that's capped at 150, I believe. But here's Jacob Taylor. Let's go ahead and talk to him and find out how he's filling in his new role on the Normandy SR-2. Excuse me.
Commander, there hasn't been time to really settle in and take stock. I want to say that working with you is a great opportunity to do something that matters. It's a privilege to serve on the Normandy, Commander.
You may change your tune if we end up like the original Normandy.
Maybe. As long as the elusive man walks his talk, and you do the same, I'll do my best to make sure we succeed. That's been the condition for my service so far. I have issues with certain actions Cerberus has taken in the past.
What has Cerberus done to make you nervous?
A lot. They've been called terrorists, and with good reason. Doubt you can find a more checkered past. But if the Collector threat is real, and we do something about it, Cerberus will be remembered differently. Or we'll all be tried and executed. Can't count on people thinking about it as hard as I have.
I look forward to working with you, Mr. Taylor.
Likewise, Commander. Let me know if you need anything. Commander, can I help you with something?
How we doing, Jacob? What's your sense of the mission?
Probably the same as everyone else. I just want to figure out what the real threat actually is. Got no problem with risk. I just need a clear goal. Anything else, Commander?
What do you think of the state of the crew?
We don't have a full complement. We don't stand a chance without the right specialists on side. Anything else, Commander?
I understand you made quite an impact after you left the Alliance.
Miranda and I stopped a Batarian plan to release a biological agent on the Citadel. That's when I first met her. It took us out to the Nemean Abyss and back. Saved the Citadel like you, but what's the saying? A good deed's like pissing yourself in dark pants? Warm feeling, but no one notices. The whole thing was hushed like they're good at doing. But I know what I did, and I'm proud of it.
So I believe that's all that detailed in the events of Mass Effect Galaxy, which I have not played or gone through, so... But in any case, let's go ahead and ask more about Jacob Taylor. Some personal questions.
I'm more interested in just talking for a bit.
Already? I'm not big on forcing these talks, Shepard. Let's do this later.
We can just do that later.
We'll talk later.
Commander.
Alright, I think we need to wait for another mission before we can get that extra dialogue. But let's move on. I do want to try and get through as much of the Normandy as we can. The next episode might also be dedicated towards going through the Normandy. I'll just go ahead and take my time. This will take as long as it needs to. I do want to go through the Normandy dialogue and be with all the crew. But here we have the comm room. So let's go ahead and talk to Edie about this place.
What's this area of the ship?
This is the FTL communications room. In addition to interfacing with the FTL comm network, Normandy is fitted with a quantum entanglement communicator linked to the elusive man's office. This allows lag-free communication even when you operate off the comm grid.
I've never heard of a quantum entanglement communicator. How does it work?
Essentially, two subatomic particles are created in an entangled state. One is installed here, and the other in the elusive man's office. When one particle occupies a given quantum state, its entangled partner will always enter the opposite state, no matter the distance between them. If we alter the state of our particle, that alters the state of the elusive man's. This allows us to send data in the form of quantum bits.
Why aren't these used everywhere?
Each quantum pair costs nearly as much as a comm relay, and can pass only one quantum bit of data at a time. In addition to the cost and bandwidth issues, the system is strictly point-to-point. To contact 100 different worlds, we would need to manufacture and install 100 entangled pairs, one link to each world.
That's all for now.
Logging you out, Shepard.
And there we go. A little bit about how the communications between the Elusive Man and the Normandy work. Well, let's go ahead and keep moving on. I think we're done with the second level for now. I'm going to try and move down to the third level, and then we'll kind of piggyback up the elevator to the deck 1. And there we go. Here's a crew deck. Now in Mass Effect 3, this will actually, this area right here will have a memorial, essentially, a memorial wall. Here's women's restroom. Now, if you do go into the men's restroom as a female character, or vice versa as a male character...
Shepard, the women's restroom is on the starboard side of the ship.
It'll give you a friendly reminder.
Oh, she's a cutie. How old?
She'll be a year old next month.
Oh, you'll miss her first birthday.
Well, my family lives in New Canton.
Oh, that colony's on the edge of the frontier. Could be vulnerable to collector attack, couldn't it?
Exactly. It's most important that she have a first birthday. That's why I'm here.
One thing we will note is that as we walk around the Normandy, we may hear crew conversations. So I will try to stop in and listen to as many of them as I can. In fact, I'm trying to go for all of them if possible. One thing I did like about Mass Effect 3 over the previous 2 games is that we get a lot more in terms of crew interactions, not just with the combat specialist crew that you bring along, like Miranda, Jacob, and all these other characters that you recruit over the course of Mass Effect 2. But in Mass Effect 3, you actually have your own combat crew members going around and talking with the crew. So I thought that was a little nice touch. And
Chef surprise again? Come on, Rupert.
I'm sorry, Princess. Filet mignon and caviar coming right up. Let me just get out my doilies.
That'd be real nice, Mr. Gardner.
we can get quite a bit of sass between crew members every now and then. So here we are with our Shep, Mess Sergeant Rupert Gardner, and he is probably going to not sure where he is in Mass Effect 3, but he is here in Mass Effect 2.
Commander Shepard, the hero of the Citadel. You did humanity proud that day. Mess Sergeant Rupert Gardner here. How can I be of service?
He's going to be cleaning the Normandy and taking care of our meals.
What do you do here on the Normandy?
What don't I do? Most think of me as the ship's cook, but I'm also the facilities technician and custodian. HVAC, plumbing, non-mission critical electrical. I make sure they're all clean and running.
So the man cleaning the toilets is also preparing the meals?
I wash my hands. Most of the time. This ain't no luxury liner. You have to pull your own weight in a Cerberus vessel, and I catch what falls through the cracks. Through the cracks.
Classic. Anyway.
How did you find your way into Cerberus?
Can you believe I was once a family man, working the EZO rigs along the frontier? I was happy enough, but losing everything to Batarian raiders can change your outlook. I needed to make a difference. I'm no soldier, but I've got skills, and Cerberus keeps an eye out for talent. I'll do whatever it takes to help, be that plumbing a sewer, routing an air duct, or keeping everyone's bellies full.
How do you feel about working for Cerberus?
Damn proud. Cerberus gets the job done. The Alliance and Council have got their heads buried so deep up their butt puckers they can't see squat. It'll take good old human ingenuity to crush these collector vermin. Only Cerberus knows that.
Do you have everything you need?
I make do. But have you ever tried to prepare a decent meal with military provisions? I'm good, but I'm no miracle worker. Taking down the collectors is going to be rough business. The crew deserves a few fine meals before they throw themselves into the fire.
What do you need?
If I had some quality ingredients... Oh, shit. You've got more to worry about than grocery shopping on the Citadel. Forget I mentioned it.
If I head that way, I'll keep an eye out.
Much appreciated. Most of this list is probably standard fare for those namby-pambies on the Citadel. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
So we can go ahead and do some shopping for Gardner on the Citadel, get him some quality ingredients, and see if we can keep the crew happy.
I won't take any more of your time.
Back to work.
But for now, let's keep looking around. Now, before we move forward, I do want to note that we have a familiar face in here. I don't know if you can see her properly, but here's her face. Those of you who played Mass Effect 1, go ahead and say hello to Karin Chakwas. She is actually joining the crew of the Normandy SR-2 in Mass Effect 2 as our chief medical expert. So nice to have her back, and this time she does have a little bit more dialogue. Just a little bit more than the first game.
Commander Shepard, I watched the Normandy crumble with you on board. It's good to see you alive.
I'm shocked. You're serving on a Cerberus vessel now?
Surprising, even to me. Yet, here I am. The kind of trauma you endured would have changed most people. But not you, I see. Welcome back, Shepard.
Let's go ahead and ask about Dr. Chakwas and how she joined Cerberus.
You're not the Cerberus type, Doctor.
I don't work for Cerberus. I work for you. On a mission that may be crucial to the survival of the human race. I have faith that your dealings with Cerberus will be ethical. I trust you, Commander.
Doctor, you've been with the Alliance for years. Why leave now?
After the Normandy was lost, the surviving crew was reassigned. I was stationed at the Mars Naval Medical Center, a very respectable position, but it wasn't on a starship.
Colonial military life isn't for you?
I've spent most of my life on warships, never knowing what the next mission might bring. I'm used to the hum of engines, the creaking of bulkheads, that subtle vertigo when the momentum dampeners kick in. Life planetside is just too static, too boring.
There's a very good chance this mission will be a one-way trip. Are you prepared for that?
I've been through the reclaiming of Shanxi, the Skillian Blitz. We survived the Battle of the Citadel and the destruction of the Normandy together. I've lived a full life. No regrets. I'd like to make sure the crew gets the same opportunity.
Do you have everything you need?
I believe so. This medical bay seems very much like the sick bay on the original Normandy. Only thing missing are my private reserves. I even had a bottle of Cerberus ice brandy that I was saving for a special occasion.
I'll keep an eye out for a replacement bottle.
Oh, you needn't. It's expensive, and we have much larger concerns ahead.
Now, if I recall correctly, Dr. Chakwas might pronounce Cerberus ice brandy differently in Mass Effect 3. Or maybe sometime later in Mass Effect 2. Sometimes I hear Cerberus and Cerberus ice brandy.
I'll see you later, Doctor.
Commander.
I think we're running a little bit late in terms of the timing. We're probably going to want to push the rest of the stuff into the next episode, but we do have just a little bit of smidgen of time. So I'm going to try and look around here, see if we've got anything in terms of codex entries, because I don't remember exactly where all the entries are. So I just look around and just walk around until I find something. We actually have the Exo's quarters are right here. On the original Normandy, this was pretty much the captain's quarters, but here it is the quarters of our Exo, Randall Lawson. Before we go any further, now that we've taken care of a lot of the intro with the Lazarus Research Station and Freedom's Progress, this is a good time to start delving a little more into my critique of some of the events of the story in this game. One of the things I kind of wish they did a little bit more with, Wilson's character was fairly underused. I kind of thought that this betrayal at the beginning of the game wasn't quite, I don't know, something just seemed off about it. It seemed it was just kind of forced in for just for the sake of having some cheap drama moments. I kind of wanted Wilson's story to go someplace else, wanted them to do more with Wilson's character, but they didn't do that, so unfortunately that's what we get. As for the destruction of the Normandy, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. There are a lot of people who chimed in regarding whether or not Shepard's death does a lot narrative-wise. Whether or not you can do the same thing with having a character who just goes into a coma for 2 years. I'm kind of half and half on the issue. it's a nice, it's a nice shocking moment in the story, but yeah, I have to agree, in terms of the narrative and being able to tell a story from Mass Effect 2, you could probably twist the events around. You wouldn't even need to have Shepard dying. In my mind, it seems that Shepard's death really justifies just having you dip out of the galaxy's politics and social affairs for 2 years, just to kind of explain how you're out of the loop. Allows some new players to kind of jump on board, being somebody fish out of the water, so to speak. But it also allows for you to change your character's skills and skill specialization. So if you wanted to play soldier instead of infiltrator like in the last game, or if I wanted to go ahead and go with adept this time around, I could certainly do that. But yeah, there's not much I can really add to that discussion. But let's go talk to Miranda real quick. That's going to be the last thing we do. And I'm going to reiterate, this is going to be, besides just being an informative Let's Play, it's also going to be a Let's Play where I nitpick at the story. So, just be forewarned. I'm not going to try and pull too many punches with regards to reviewing what I think is, good or bad moments in the game.
Commander, what can I do for you?
What exactly are your duties aside from keeping an eye on me?
I'm the Elusive Man's agent. You're his most important asset. My job is to make sure you succeed. Aside from that, I send regular reports to the Elusive Man, updating our status.
Anything I should know regarding the Normandy?
The crew's working well, and the ship appears to be performing to specifications.
Do you have a minute, Miranda?
No doubt you've got a lot of questions. Cerberus isn't as evil as most people believe. If I can help allay any of your concerns, I'd be happy to do so. So, what would you like to know?
Are you military or political? Or both?
Cerberus has several divisions. Political, military, scientific, but we're all working towards the same goal. The teams you encountered before your accident were mostly part of our military division. But not all Cerberus operations use the same protocols. We try not to get bogged down in bureaucracy or formality.
I love the little pause that she gives when it talks about accident. Nice pause. We did take out a lot of Cerberus operations in Mass Effect 1, so...
I know what we're doing here, but what's Cerberus's long-term goal?
The advancement of the human race. Nothing more, nothing less. The Solarians have the Special Tasks Group. The Asari have their legendary commandos for stealth and recon operations. Cerberus is humanity's answer to those organizations.
But those organizations are regulated by governments. Who keeps Cerberus in check?
Nobody. We're privately funded and our backers trust the Elusive Man to make the right decisions. But he's very clear about our goals. Protect humanity and serve its advancement.
What kind of resources does Cerberus have?
We're very well funded, though I doubt anyone other than the Elusive Man knows exactly how well. But our resources aren't unlimited. Reviving you and rebuilding the Normandy was a significant investment, and a significant risk. We're all hoping you can do the impossible, Shepard. No pressure.
What can you tell me about the Elusive Man?
Not much that you don't already know. Even I don't have access to most of his background. And you've seen more of him than most ever do. It's rare for him to become directly involved in missions, but you're something special. Whatever else people might say about him, I can assure you he's got humanity's best interests at heart. That includes you and me.
How can you be sure of that if you know so little about him?
I didn't get to where I am without knowing how to gauge people's motives and ambitions, even from brief encounters. He's no saint, and he'd be the first to admit it. But he is committed. Humanity couldn't have a better advocate.
I'm gonna go ahead and just skim back through some of the old dialogue options, make sure I didn't miss anything.
I know what we're doing
here.
The
advancement, the Cerberus is humanity's answer. But he's very clear about our goals.
Are you military or political?
But not all Cerberus operations use the same protocol.
What kind of resources?
And a significant risk. We're all hoping you can do the
impossible. Tell me about yourself, Miranda.
Oh, I guess that's fair. I've spent the last 2 years learning everything there is to know about you. Well, you should probably know that I've had extensive genetic modification. Not my decision, but I make the most of it. It's one of the reasons the Elusive Man handpicked me. I'm very good at just about anything I choose to do.
What level of genetic modification are we talking about?
It's very thorough. Physically, I'm superior in many ways. I heal quickly, and I'll likely live half again as long as the average human. My biotic abilities are also very advanced. For a human. Add to that some of the best training and education money can buy, and, Well, it's pretty impressive, really.
You certainly don't lack for confidence.
It's just a fact. My reflexes, my strength, even my looks, they're all designed to give me an edge. No point in hiding from it. It's the reason I'm trusted to oversee the most dangerous, risky, and technically demanding operations Cerberus undertakes. And it's why I was assigned to you. It's my job to make sure you succeed, Shepard.
Thanks for the information, Miranda. I'll talk to you later.
Of course, Commander. Whatever you need.
Anyway, we were done with talking to Miranda. Let's go ahead and keep moving around. I think that's going to be it for this episode. One of the reasons I do want to try and criticize the story is to give me a bit of an outlet, because the main narrative of this game is largely depends on your interaction with your crew members. It's a lot of the stuff with the collectors is just shelved off. It's kind of stripped down. I kind of wanted a little bit more from the story regarding the collector threat, but at this point, it's kind of what it is. So if I can critique the story and give myself that outlet I need, then there we go. I think that's going to be it for now. I'll go back around real quick, look for any ED consoles that I might have missed. There might have been one in the med bay that I didn't look at. And then we'll call the episode there, because I do have to get running. Nope. I think, oh, here we go. This is the ED console right here.
What's this area of the ship?
The sick bay. It is equipped to provide short-term emergency care. In the event of critical injury, personnel must be transferred to a fully equipped medical facility.
There we go. Alright folks, that's gonna be it for now. Next time we pick up, we're gonna try and go to the next deck, level 4, and then I'll show the captain's quarters, and if we have time, we might get something started. But until then, this is GreatTreeJam. I want to wish you guys a happy day, night, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be in this universe or the next. And right here, I'm going to go ahead and call it. So stay safe, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.